Assalamualaikum and very good day everyone. We are Group 3 from class ISB550. Today we will present our case study entitled Zakat Calculation in Sabah. Case study of Ancient Hakim's family. Let's begin. So, before we begin, let us introduce our group member. We are Grace Shafi, Nur Shafika binti Omar, Diana Fitri binti Hamid, and Julian Stanis. Each of us will present different sections of this case study. Before we discuss the case study, it is important to understand the concept of zakat in Islam. Zakat is the third pillar of Islam and is obligatory for every Muslim who meets the required conditions. Linguistically, the word zakat means purity, cleansing, growth, blessing, and development. These meanings reflect the purpose of zakat, which is to purify a person's wealth and soul while bringing blessing and promoting economic growth within society. From the Sharia perspective, zakat refers to a specific portion of wealth that must be given to eligible recipient known as asnaf, according to Islamic law. The ruling on paying zakat is fardu ain, meaning it is an individual obligation for every eligible Muslim. Therefore, Muslims who fulfill all the necessary conditions must pay zakat. Besides purifying wealth, zakat also helps reduce poverty, promote social justice, and strengthen solidarity within the Muslim community. This slide provides an overview of the different types of zakat and the official zakat fitrah rate in Sabah. Understanding this category is important because each type of zakat has different conditions and methods of calculation. First is zakat on income or earnings. The zakat is imposed on income such as monthly salaries, allowances, professional fee, commission, and freelance income. If the total income reaches the nisab and fulfill the required conditions, the individual is obligated to pay zakat. Second is zakat on savings. This applies to money kept in savings or current accounts. The saving must reach the nisab and be maintained for 1 lunar year, known as the hold period, before zakat becomes payable. Third is zakat on gold and silver. This includes gold kept as saving, investment gold, and in certain situations, gold jewelry that exceed the permissible local custom or oath. Silver is also subject to zakat if it meets the nisab. The next category is zakat on business. This is compulsory for business owner whose business asset and working capital reach the nisab. It applies to both sole proprietorships and company conducting halal business activity. Another category is zakat on share and investments. Muslims who own shares, unit trusts, or other investment accounts may also be required to pay zakat if the value of the investment reaches the required thresholds. Zakat is also imposed on EPF or retirement savings. Generally, zakat becomes payable when the saving can be withdrawn according to the rules set by relevant authority. In addition, Islam requires zakat on agricultural produce such as paddy and other crops. Once the harvest reaches the prescribed minimum amount, there is also zakat on livestock including camels, cattle, goat, and sheep, provided they fulfill the conditions set by Islamic law. On the right side of the slide, we can see the official zakat fitrah rate in Sabah. According to the Majlis Ugama Islam Sabah, the zakat fitrah rate for both 1445 Hijrah or 2024 and 1446 Hijrah or 2025 is Ringgit Malaysia 7.50 per person. Zakat fitrah is compulsory for every Muslim who has sufficient means, and it must be paid before the Hari Raya Adil Fitri prayer. The purpose of zakat fitrah is to purify a Muslim fasting during Ramadan and to ensure that the less fortunate can also celebrate Hari Raya with dignity. This slide shows the distribution and collection statistic of zakat in Sabah for the year 2025. On the left is the zakat collection statistic. The largest source of zakat collection comes from income zakat, followed by business, savings, and wealth zakat. This shows that income zakat is the main contributor to the zakat fund in Sabah. On the right is the zakat distribution statistics. Most of the zakat is distributed to the fakir miskin categories, as as they are the purity received according to the Islamic teachings. Other eligible receipts include Amil, Mu'alaf, Al-Rikab, Ibn Sabil, Garimin, and Fisabilillah. Overall, these statistics show that zakat is collected from eligible Muslims and distributed fairly to the eight category of asnaf, ensuring that those in need receive financial assistance in improving social welfare in Sabah.
Next, I will explain the beneficiary of zakat, also known as asnaf. According to Surah At-Tawbah, verse 60, zakat can only be distributed to 8 categories. The first is al-fuqara, or people who have almost no income. The second is al-masikin, who have some income but still insufficient for their basic needs. The third is emil, which refer to officer appointed to collect and distribute zakat. The fourth is mu'alaf, such as new Muslim who need support to strengthen their faith. The fifth is al-rikab, which traditionally refer for freeing enslaved people. Today, it may include people who need protection from exploitation or oppression. The sixth is al-garimin, or individual who cannot repay debt taken for important needs, such as medical treatment. The seventh is fi sabilillah, which support activity that benefit Islam and the Muslim community, such as Islam education and da'wah program. The final category is Ibn Samil, which refer to travelers who are stranded and need temporary financial assistance. In Sabah, zakat managed by Majlis Ugama Islam Sabah or MUIS. Eligibility is assessed by on Had al-Kifayah, which consider whether a household income is enough to cover its basic need. Overall, zakat distribution help reduce poverty, support basic need, and improve the welfare of the community. Next, I will explain zakat on gold. Zakat on gold is type of wealth zakat. It's applied when the gold is fully owned by Muslim, reached the required nisab, and has been owned for 1 lunar year. The zakat rate is 2.5%. Gold is divided into two categories, which is capped gold and won gold. Capped gold refers to a gold cap as saving or investment. The nisab is 85 grams and zakat is calculated based on its full market value. In this example, the person owns 100 grams of capped gold and the gold price is 300 per gram. Therefore, the zakat for capped gold is 750 ringgit. One gold refers to a jewelry used for a personal wear. The rough in Sabah is 152 grams. Zakat is only calculated on the weight exceeding this amount. For example, a person owns 190 grams of one gold, therefore the excess weight is 38 grams. So the zakat for one gold is 285 ringgit. Then the total zakat on gold is 750 ringgit plus 285 ringgit, which equal to 1035 ringgit. Finally, to claim this zakat payment as income tax rebate under Section 6A, subsection 3 of the Income Tax Act 1967, the payment must be made through an authorized religious authority, such as MUIS. The taxpayer must also keep the official receipt as evidence. In conclusion, zakat on gold purify a Muslim wealth, fulfill a religious obligation, and provide assistance to eligible member of society.
Assalamualaikum and hello everyone. Now I will present our case study background. Our case study is about Encik Hakim bin Ahmad, a 45 years old government engineer who works in Kota Kinabalu, Sabah. He has served in the government sector for more than 18 years. His wife, Puan Nurul, is a primary school teacher. They have 4 children, which is Aiman, Aisha, Adam, and Alia. As a family, they own their own house and have 2 vehicles, which is a family SUV and a motorcycle. They also practice good financial planning by saving regularly and investing part of their income. In terms of financial background, the family's total monthly household income is 14,000 ringgit, consisting of Encik Hakim's salary, his wife's salary, and rental income. Over the years, they have accumulated 220,000 ringgit in zakatable asset, including cash saving, fixed deposit, investment gold, and unit trust. Since these assets exceed the nisab and have been held for 1 complete hijrah years, Encik Hakim is eligible to pay zakat according to the Sabah State Zakat Center guidelines. My group member will now explain how the zakat amount is calculated.
Now let's go to calculation part. The first one is the calculation of zakat on income. As stated earlier by my friend Encik Hakim and his wife is working with the governments. Encik Hakim is receiving 102,000 salary annual income, meanwhile his wife is receiving 48,000 per annum. In addition, Encik Hakim is receiving passive rental payment around 18,000 per year. From this total income, it is clearly that both Encik Hakim and his wife exceeds the Sabah 2024 NISAB benchmark, which is around 23,500. Therefore, their income meets the core condition of the obligation of the three obligation, which is they are Muslim, then they have the full ownership of Milkut Tam, and also they hold the productive wealth. Therefore, they have the obligation to pay zakat on income. As for the zakat, the gross method will be used as the method is simple, conservative, and practical for taxpayers whose income are clearly exceeds the threshold. A flat rate of 2.5% on gross income will be calculated for both Encik Hakim and Puan Nurul as their payment for zakat on income. Now let's look at their wealth and asset. Encik Hakim has cash saving, fixed deposits, and unit trust totaling 185,000. Meanwhile, Puan Nurul has 35,000 in investment gold. Both of their wealth and assets exceeds the Sabah 2024 NISAB benchmark, which is 23,500. Therefore, both of them are compulsory to pay zakat at 2.5% rate on their total wealth or gold. Okay, so now for the total zakat payable, it will be done by combining the obligation from the zakat on income and also zakat on assets or gold. So the total zakat payable for Encik Hakim will be 7,625 ringgit. Meanwhile, the total zakat payable for Puan Nurul will be 2,075 ringgit. So, since they both pay the zakat separately, how will they benefited from the tax rebate? In Malaysia, zakat provides a powerful tax optimization benefit because it functions as a tax rebate rather than just a personal relief. Under Section 6A in bracket 3 of the Income Tax Act 1967, a tax relief like EPF or child relief only reduce our chargeable income before the tax rate is applied. But a tax rebate, however, is deducted directly from the final tax payable. So this means that after Encik Hakim and Puan Nurul calculate their respective income tax, then they will subtract their total zakat amounts directly from their bills. So every ringgit paid in zakat reduce their tax owed to Lembaga Hasil Dalam Negeri by exactly 1 ringgit. Nevertheless, it is crucial to note also that the rebate is strictly limited to the actual amount of income tax charge only. For example, if one Nurul calculated tax bill is only 1,500, her 2,075 ringgit zakat rebate will be reduced her tax to exactly zero, which means the excess 575 will not be refunded by LHDN, nor can it be carried forward to the following year. Encik Hakim and Puan Nurul also have to bear in mind that to legally secure their benefits, they must ensure three things, which is the zakat must be paid within the current basis year and paid to appropriate official established religious authority, which is MUIS for Sabah, and they must retain the official receipt for 7 years as evidence. As we wrap up our presentation today, let's think about the main reason why we pay zakat. In the end, zakat is more than just a tax free donation or a nice thing to do for people who want to. For some Muslims, it is an important part of their prayer or their ibadah. But performing this duty is actually the right thing to do for four strong reasons. The first one is about purifying the wealth and heart. The word zakat itself means purification and growth. Stated in the Quran that giving a certain amount of our wealth make us more spiritually pure and strengthen our belief that our wealth really comes from Allah. The second one is about justice. Justice justice is what zakat is all about. Zakat is very organized way to redistribute wealth unlike the general income tax that pay for many public goods. There are eight unique groups of people that will receive the zakat. One of the group that will receive called asnaf, which include the fakir and the miskin. So this targeted method protects the and empowers the community. When zakat is distributed correctly, it protects the most important things in our society, like religion, life, intelligence, family, and wealth. Zakat is meant to help the weakest people to get out of short-term crisis and into a long-term independence and stability by helping them with things like housing, food, education, medical care, and also business capital. Last but not least, tax cash flow optimization is useful in real life. In Malaysia, paying zakat is a great way to balance our religious tasks with our personal financial planning, whereby in section 6A in bracket 3 of Income Tax Act 1967 says that if you give qualifying zakat to an official state religious authority like MUIS, you will get back the same amount of money in tax. So in other words, meeting your religious duty at the same time gives you a strong legal deduction that goes straight off your final federal income tax bill. So that's all from our group. Thank you for your attention.